Night came, and they were finally ready because they've already had their rest. "Let's be careful," said Fergus. "We will," said Thomas. I hope we will get home soon. The line could be spooky," said Stanley, and with that they puffed away into the night. That's when the trouble began. The fog came down, and they went on the same line where Stepney was on when he first got lost. "Maybe we were right," said the three engines. "This looks spooky." And they were finally there to an unknown area. Thomas decided that the two engines will stay here. "You can't go in there alone," said Stanley. "The diesels are waiting for you." "And Molly is close, guys," said Thomas. "I'm not stopping." "Please," said Fergus. "You'll get scrapped too." "I'm done arguing," said Thomas. "I have to do this." And then Thomas puffed away. When he arrived, he saw Splatter. He saw Dodge. Dodge saw Thomas. "What do we have here?" A stinky steamy. "Where is she?" said Thomas, and he bumped Dodge off the rails, and then Dodge was beginning to crunch, and he exploded in pieces on the floor and came off the rails. "Ha ha," said Thomas, "and no diesel will get me at all. I'm going to search for her." And then Thomas steamed away to find Molly. While Molly couldn't answer her trouble because of Diesel 10, so they decided to melt her down and scrap her with that. Melt her down and scrap her with that. Melt her down, and that grabber will crunch her into bits until that grabber will crunch her into smithereens. "I will, my lord," said Splatter. "No," said Molly when Thomas arrived. "Where is she?" said Thomas. "Thomas," said Molly, "you came back." And so Thomas biffed Splatter off the rails. "It wasn't so long," said Thomas. "Come on." And Thomas and Molly finally escaped. "Let's take him together, Let's take him together," said Derek. "We should," said Diesel 10, and then they puffed away to capture the two steam engines, who finally rescued one another as well. They were ready, and they were just in time before Diesel and Derek got captured in. Derek came off the rails. "Oh," he said, and Diesel 10 was surrounded by the engines. "We have you now, Diesel 10, said Toby, and they finally captured him. And they were ready to take him to the Scrappy, and so and the Fat Controller was happy that Molly has been found, so he spoke severely to Diesel 10. "I should have scrapped you long ago. Now I will, tomorrow," he said. "Mercy, mercy," moaned Diesel 10. "I'll do that later after when we talk about mercy. Take him away, Toby and Molly." "Fine," said Diesel 10. And so Toby and Diesel 10 took him away to the scrapyard to be scrapped. And Thomas and the engines were happy that Molly has been saved. "Get something to hold him," said the Fat Controller, and the engines did. At the next day, Diesel 10 had been scrapped, and the engines were finally free from their control. At the next day, Diesel 10 has been scrapped, and the engines were finally happy that he's not on the island of Sodor anymore. even Duncan and Proteus made friends, and Stepney finally came back, and Fergus met Molly, and they were finally free from Diesel 10's evil threat forever. And with that, Diesel 10 was scrapped forever, and they didn't know what's going to happen now. Derek and the other Diesels were sent here for what they were still going to do, but we haven't found out yet, haven't we? And so Splatter, Dodge, and Derek came out to the scrapyard. They knew what they were going to do. They were going to make Diesel 10 escape, so that before it will be too late for him to become a steam engine, where they were going to create him to become a steam engine, where he is going to become a steam engine for good. And so they steamed away to rescue him, the same way Molly, the same way Thomas Ferguson Stanley did with Molly. And that will be the Diesels' long adventure now to find their missing friend.